Today I'm going to introduce a solution to the question Fizz Buzz. The question is write an algorithm that prints real numbers between 1 and n, replacing multiples of 3 with a string Fizz, and multiples of 5 with string bars, and multiples of 15 with string Fizz Buzz. This question is extremely popular, and I would like to define a method here. Public static, and the return type should be a list of strings, so it should be a list, and then the type is string. And the name I can define it as Fizz Buzz Fibble. So it just passed in a parameter is n, so what I would iterate through is 1 to n. So here I should define iterate through the number by the for loop. But before that, I also need to define a list to store the result. So here I would create a list string. A list string. The name is to return. New array list. The size is defined as n because I just iterate through 1 to n, so the return amount is just from 1 to n. So here I just use for loop to iterate through the whole number from 1 to n, I equals to 1, and I less than n. Then I plus plus. Here is one catch. That is to check for the Fizz Buzz case before the others, because values divisible by 15 are also divisible by 3 and 5. So you'd miss this if you check the 3 and 5 cases first. So here I would check the 15 cases first. So if I divide the 15 and equals to 1, equals to 0, sorry. Then I should just add the string to the list, return list, and add string. The string here should be Fizz Buzz. And another judgment is this check the 3 part equals to 0, and then just add the Fizz to the return list, and then the same to 5. But here is bars. And else, if it's not divisible by 3 and 5 and 15, I can just return the integer. But the return type is a string list, so I also need to transfer the integer to a string. So here I should use to return dot add, and here I need to use integer dot to string to change the integer to string. Yeah, our integer is I for each element in the integer list. So here I also need to add a return type after the for loop, after return to list, to return. And it's finished, but it's not. But interviewers often look for examples of code reuse, and this is not a good solution because it's lack of logical abstraction, and it doesn't do very well in the code reuse. So I should comment this and I should comment this and introduce a reusable method, which is quite similar to this one. So I can give it name and the return type is the same. Give it name as alter fable. The return type is also a list string, and the function name is called alternative fable. Yeah. So to change it to a good format, and the parameter is also int n. For this part, the return type is the same as the former one, so I just copy it from here. And I also need to do a for loop here, but in the for loop, because here I just do the same thing to check whether the integer is divisible by the integer 15, 3, or 5. So here I can define a new function to do this part. I can define it as private static. The interviewer may also ask why you want to use the static keyword here, because the methods that are treated as static are dependent of any object in the class. So therefore, a static object can be assigned before any of its objects that are created without reference to any object. That's why I want to use the static for a specific function. So here I define the return define the return type as string, and the function name is toWord, and pass the parameter here int divisor, and the other one is value, and then the return word. What I want to do is just to do this by one line. So here I want to use the value to divide the divisor and check whether it is divisible or not. If it is divisible, I can just return the word. If it's not divisible, I can return an empty string. So that's the reusable function. And here in the for loop, I can use this function multiple times, from I equals to 1 to n, I less than n, and then I plus plus. What I want to do is define a string word as a other part we want to add into the return list, and the string word is a combination of the call function of toWord, and then here I should check whether the 3 works for whether the current integer is divisible by 3. So here the divisor should be 3, and the integer, the value here is I, and then if it is divisible, I just return Fizz, and I also need to call this again to check whether it's divisible by 5 or not. So it's the same to this part, but here is 5 and I and bars. And I also need to check whether the word is empty or not. If both of the function toward check the 3 and check the 5 or return the empty, the whole string is empty, that means it's not divisible by either the 3 or 5. So here I should just append the integer into the list. So I also need to do if a conditional function to check whether just check the word whether it equals to empty string. If it is, we can just add the integer, because we need to add it into a string list, so I need to call the toString here, and this is I. Else we can just add the word and then return our result list to return. Okay, that's it. We can write the main function to check whether it's right or not. Oh, sorry. Okay, and here let's just print the outer bevel. For example, if I want to check from 1 to 100, I can just put 100 here and run this part. Yeah, we can see the 3 is Fizz and 5 is bars, and 6 can be divided by 3, so it's Fizz. And here 9 can be divided by 3, so it's Fizz. And 10 can be divided by 5, it's bars. And 12, yeah, alright. That is a good solution. So I think the key point here is to combine the two conditional part together and either return type, because when the two-word method doesn't return a match, it just returns an empty string. This will allow us to check for 3 and 5 together. If a number is divisible by 3 but not by 5, then the fact case will return an empty string. So the Fizz will be concatenated with an empty string. And when a number is divisible by 15, that is divisible by both 3 and 5, then the Fizz will be concatenated with bars, giving the right result Fizz bars. Yeah, that's all. Thanks for listening.